Alright, since I did a class 2 video, I wanted to go ahead and also do a class 5 video just because I think that it's important to see other ways of doing the same thing. Dentistry is all about there's 1,000 different ways to skin a cat. There's no one way you have to do anything. Obviously, there's the way that they want to teach you, but everything's about developing what works for you and kind of trying things out. And this is a good period to do that. So with my class fives, obviously, if you're doing a composite, you're going to have more rounded internal angles. So using a round burr is already helpful. But I think even if you want sharper angles internally for amalgam, it's still helpful to do 95% of your prep with a round burr. If you just go into the side of the tooth with a 330, it's a lot easier to go too deep. Now you've kind of ruined your depth. Your prep's going to be a little bit more irregular and require more refining just because your burr's a lot smaller. So it's not as easy to get that overall shape. So here you're seeing that I'm using a 6 round burr, and I'm going to initially just put the burr deep enough into the tooth so that it catches. Sorry. So I turned down my speed maybe about, 20, 25,000, and I'm just putting the burr enough into the tooth just so that it's not sliding on the surface. I'm getting my general outline, how I want it mesiodistally, and I'm just marking where I cut so that you can visually see it. So obviously we have already the mesiodistal borders where we want them. Now we're just only about 0.3, 0.5 millimeters deep into the tooth. So we're going to go back in now that we kind of have our guide. You can turn the burr speed up just a little bit now, and you're going to stay within those borders you just created and work on making that prep deeper. It's important to note that the prep is going to follow a rounded pattern around the tooth, so you don't need to have the middle of your prep deeper than the mesio or the distal parts. So essentially, it's all about just using this one burr and refining it, getting your depth right, getting the borders nice and smooth. Once you kind of are almost there, then you can slow your burr speed down and finish it just by, 5, 10,000 RPM just to make everything smooth. As you can see here, I'm at about 1.5 millimeters deep, both ways. Now, since I'm pretty much there, I slowed my burr speed down and I'm just finishing it so it's nice and smooth. Now, if you're doing amalgam, you want sharper internal angles. So this is when you can go back in with your 330 or your 56 at a very low speed, 5, 10,000 RPM, and just try and put it in the depths of your prep and just round or sharpen those internal line angles. But you'll hear as you can see right there. Oh, keep pressing the wrong button. Um, As you can see, the cava surface margin could be smoothed up with the chisel. That would not take very much time at all. But all in all, it took me about 3 minutes to do this prep, and it looks pretty good to me. So obviously be aware if you're going to have to do amalgam and have sharper angles. If you did composite, you might bevel the margins a little bit more. But just to kind of get your initial prep where you want it, I think using a round burr is very helpful.